Hello everyone, this is PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski and we are around Palos with our good friend now. Over the years we've been together and it's Jill Stutson from Skin Trust. Jill, thanks for joining us again today.
I am delighted to be here, Sue. Good to see you.
Oh, and it's been a little while and you know, Jill and I were talking this weather coming up eventually will be sunny. We're really waiting for that at this point. But there's so many things, tips and suggestions and new things that have come out that Jill can tell us all about. She's really a great expert on all of this, and I hope you've been able to listen to some of our programs in the past because they've been really helpful. And Jill actually told me before the program started today that it is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. So I think Correct. We're going to talk about that a little bit too, because that's sort of an issue that everybody does have concerns about.
Absolutely. And you said it well. We're going to come into the sunny time of the year.
Yes.
And we want to be protected, and it's really important to do that.
It is.
And I think, as you and I were talking before we came on air, that it's interesting that 90% of adults will have some form of skin cancer. And so I deal in my world with the cosmetic part of skin, but if you don't have healthy skin, you don't have the cosmetic part of skin either. You don't have the pretty part of skin. So I think that this month gives us a time to really talk about try to avoid skin cancer. And I was telling Sue that I just went to my dermatologist to have my annual body scan. And I believe this is an important thing for everyone to do because 90% of the people can have skin cancer, and there's 3 types of cancer, basal cell being the least, and probably the one to not be overly concerned about, although you do want to take it off. But I have always taken good care of my face, but not my hands, because I would wash my hands, I would not put sunscreen on, or if I did put sunscreen on, I washed it off, and I had a little keratosis on my hand. And a keratosis is a rough patch of skin that's pink. And you know, it could be red, but it varies from pink to red. And I had it frozen off, and my dermatologist said that 10% of a keratosis can become cancerous. So if mine comes back, then I'll have to have a biopsy and go through that. It just goes to show that if you don't care for your skin, and I didn't protect it during the summer like I should have with sunscreen, that things can happen. And now what I do is I keep a hand cream that has SPF in it in my car. So when I get in my car and I realize, oh my gosh, I forgot to put it on, it's right there and I can protect my hands.
And that's a great suggestion. I think the thing is too, we've talked about sunscreen before, about putting it on, you know, daily, even if you're not going outside. And that just sounds so extreme, like I'm not going outside. But explain, Jill, why we need this sunscreen at all times, really.
Well, it's because you have exposure. You could be in your home. A lot of people are working at home, but you might be by a window. The sun is going to come through the window. But I think one of the most important parts of it is don't think about it. Just make it part of your routine. If you have to think about, oh, it's cloudy out today, I should put my sunscreen on, chances are you might forget. And I have a lot of clients that come in and they'll be, well, I'll wear a sunscreen, but I only wear it in the summertime. No, all year long, make it a part of your regimen. Because the other aspect is, sun can hit snow, and it can bounce off of snow and reflect back up into your face, and that's equally as intense as a summer sun. And you need to be careful when you're at the beach. The same premise, the same concept, it will happen. So you have to wear it every day, all year long. And if you're in extended sun, you have to reapply every 90 minutes.
And that's the other thing. I put my sunscreen on for the day, I'm done, but you're not, especially if you're outdoors. You know, you need to be putting it on every 90 minutes. That's a lot to remember. But I think once you get in the habit of these things, you just automatically do it.
I think what trips us up a little bit is that 90 minutes because we're like, well, I have my makeup on, but I'm at a baseball game. How do I redo it? And I brought this in last year, I think, too, but this is a wonderful little product. And there's various products on the market that this is actually a powder SPF. So you can powder over your makeup. So you don't have to apply a cream over your makeup. Nobody wants to do that. But whether you have makeup on or not, this is a wonderful product that you can powder your SPF back on. And this is, the companies are getting more inventive. And so this is available, and it's this is Jane Ardale, but there's various companies out there that have them. And that's the one part that trips us up. The other one is I will have people that will come in and say, but I wore a hat. And it's wonderful. Wear protective clothing. There's wonderful protective
There is now.
clothing, but you still have to reapply. Because I just had somebody come in, they'd had a hat on, they'd been on vacation, but there was a difference between their skin color here and here. Obviously this was lighter, the hat protected it, but it didn't protect down here.
Oh, yeah, so you think you're protected, but not really.
And you're not really. That
No.
sun knows how to get to our skin. And be sure we do our face, our neck, and your décolleté.
Okay, now a lot of foundation type makeups has an SPF
does.
in it. So do you need to put on an SPF plus that, or
Well,
is
we
that
don't
good
put,
enough?
We don't put our makeup on our neck most of the time.
That's true, we don't, no.
And I say in the summer months, when we tend to be outside more than in the winter months, put a sunscreen on underneath. Then put your makeup, even if it has SPF in it, which hopefully it does, put that on your face. But you're then double protected on your face, and you're protected here, and you're protected here.
Okay, good suggestion. All right, so I want to talk about this too, because I think a lot of people think that, I've had people say to me, oh, I always use 100 SPF, or I always use 80 SPF, and I want to tell them, well, you don't have to do that. And so I noticed in our notes today that that's still true. We don't really need 100 SPF to protect ourselves.
No, it's very interesting, but the FDA started to really watch over sunscreens and approve sunscreens back in 2013. And at that point, they came out with a recommendation of really a 30 is what's most important. And if you look at a diagram of what's the sun protection increase between a 30 and a 50, or a 30 and 100, very little.
Oh, okay.
So you,
sounds like a lot.
it sounds like a lot because the numbers are big.
Yes.
But if you look at the actual protection you get, no. So I say to people, anything between a 30 and a 50, if you go over a 50, especially if it's an over-the-counter sunscreen, you're going to put more chemicals on your skin. And you don't want to do that. You don't want chemicals on your skin. And the best ingredients that you can use are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide in terms of the sun protection ingredients in a product. Those are the best. But sunscreens have also gotten very sophisticated because of the FDA entering into the skincare world. And you can find ones that are really good for oily skin. They're relatively light. You can find ones that are very hydrating for skin for somebody who's drier. There's all kinds of good facial sunscreens. And what you use on your face is probably going to be very different than your body. And I say to people, your sunscreen in the summer can be your daytime moisturizer. Because our whole weather changes. We have more humidity, unless you're in air conditioning all day, and then you have to factor that in. But it can be. That can be your daytime moisturizer. Summer is very different for skin than winter, and summer's a little more forgiving. As long as you protect yourself from the sun, it's a little more forgiving with our skin.
Okay, so if we're looking for sunscreen, most of us end up at the local drugstore or the grocery store, or your discount stores or whatever. Are there other places where we can get a better quality sunscreen?
There is. And as we talked about before, an esthetician can help guide you through that process. A dermatologist can help guide you through that process. And our whole role as an esthetician is to really understand products and ingredients and to be able to coach and work with you on that. So there are resources available to really help with that.
That's good, because some people, I think, are even more sensitive with skin if they have that, children or people with very sensitive skin. It seems to me they burn a little quicker. And
they do.
And stuff.
And I think people struggle with sunscreens because I've had a lot of people come in and say, well, my skin breaks out or it doesn't feel right. And they haven't used the right one. And there's so many options that it's good to try different ones to see what might work for you.
Yeah, it really is. So, you can ask a professional to help you with that.
Yes.
And in particular, if you're going to your dermatologist for your yearly skin exam, then ask at that point.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing to do, too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, what are the results of exposure to sun on your skin over time? I mean, a lot of us have been in the sun a lot through time. What's happening?
Well, the exposure is my keratosis because I didn't take care of my hair.
That's
That's one thing that can happen. But I think we worry about skin cancer, and we also worry about how our skin is aging and how it looks. And what can happen over time is And people don't realize this. The obvious is when you get freckles, when you get brown spots, discoloration, and most of that is sun exposure. But what a lot of people don't understand is exposure to sun will also stimulate an enzyme in your skin that will destroy your collagen and elastin. Again, slowly over time. But aging also does that. So why give our skin a double whammy?
Exactly. Right.
And then all of a sudden a woman will start to see the changes of her skin that maybe are a little earlier than what the normal aging process would bring about. And that's because of sun exposure.
So if you start at a much earlier age, which now we are learning, for our children, grandchildren, who now are protecting their skin better, as older people, they're probably going to have a better looking skin than some of us do.
They will. And you bring up a good point too. Start young, because a sunscreen is the best anti-aging, aging beautiful step that you can have in a regimen. It's the best.
It's so easy.
And it's so easy. I tell young gals that come in and they're not wearing the sunscreen, I said, oh, please wear one. You will be so glad you did.
Yes.
Because you have good ones. We didn't have good ones available.
No.
And you have these products available. You're not going to come in to a dermatologist, to an esthetician, and ask for a bunch of corrective things on your skin because you don't like how it's aging.
Yes, exactly. They do have a lot of choices.
They have a lot of choices.
Yeah. And there's just so much more awareness about that, that the people will, there's articles, there's shows like this, there's your local esthetician that you may go to who can guide you through that, and everybody wants to look good.
They do. And social media has an awful lot out there too.
Oh, they probably do. What do you do, what about the topical like sun enhancer, so that you look tan, but it's just...
Oh, that's a very good point.
Is that okay for your skin? Because you do kind of want to look like tan.
Yeah.
In our mind, healthy is tan.
And that's true.
So how do we go about getting that tan?
And the unfortunate part is some people have beautiful color. When they tan, they have a beautiful color to their skin, but it's still sun exposure, which is not good. There's a lot of good self-tanning products out there. And they've improved too.
They have. You're not so much like a banana, you just sometimes...
No, I can remember using one when I was young, and we won't even get into that. But they're much better. That's all I'll say.
Yes. So you can go out and get a product and get that tan without doing something damage to your skin.
Correct. Okay. And what I had a client come in recently, and she was getting ready for her son's wedding, and she went to a tanning booth. And she knew, I didn't have to say a whole lot to her, you don't want to do that. We talked about cancer. That is unfortunately a really good way to get cancer. And it just is what it is.
Look how many people did that for so long. All these tanning salons that people would go to.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I did it one time, I'll be honest, and it scared the heck out of me. I mean, you got in that machine, and I felt like maybe an electrocution was going to take place.
Oh,
so I never did it again.
I don't blame you. I never did it because I just can't tan because of my coloration, so I gave up long ago.
Yeah, it was really scary. I'm not gonna... Won't go there with that. It was really scary.
I'm glad though it scared you, so you didn't go back.
I did. I never did. No. So we're talking about summertime. So we're doing the making sure that you're well covered with skin protection, and there's also other elements that can cause our skin to be damaged, and that is pollution in the air.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's something that's hard to really understand because it's invisible.
It is. So how do you battle that?
Yeah. Well, there's several ways you can battle that. One is cleansing your skin. And really you have to cleanse your skin twice at night. Once to remove that, and even if you don't wear makeup, remove the toxins from the environment. And then the second time is to really clean your skin so it's clean and it's good. And that's what I tell people. A lot of people say, well, I don't wear makeup, so I don't need to cleanse twice. And I'll say, but you do. You don't realize what you accumulate on your skin. And we don't. We don't know what's in the environment, but it's here. And again, we're going to be outside more now because it's summertime, so it's important. And doing that, and also using antioxidants on your skin, like a vitamin C or a green tea, can be very helpful to fight against pollution. There are products specifically to fight against pollution too, especially if you might live in a more urban environment. Now, we still get the impact of Chicago to a lesser degree than if we were in the city. You know, we don't have the emissions from the buses and from the cars and all of that. But when you think about that, and you think about, do we have industry out here? Do we have pollution coming into the air from that? We probably get a little bit from a lot of different places, but we still get it.
Yeah, okay, so we do need to cleanse our skin. What are we cleansing it with?
And that depends upon your skin type. Not bar soap, I can assure you of that,
Okay.
though.
No
bar
even,
soap.
Even the moisturizer ones.
Not even
No.
the moisturizing
Okay.
one. Any kind of Dove, Ivory, no, please.
Okay.
Because it raises the alkaline level in your skin, which makes you very dry. And I've seen that do things to your skin you don't want. And people that have come in and we've really needed to heal their skin from that. But what you want is, depending upon your skin, if you have more of an oil-based skin, you might want more of a gel cleanser. If you have more mature, perhaps a little bit drier skin, then you want a creamy cleanser. And cleansers are very sophisticated. You can get exfoliating actions that are gentle enough you can use every day. You can have a creamy cleanser that has an alpha hydroxy acid in it. You can have another cleanser that may have beeswax, that's a granularity that's good for exfoliating. The creamy would be better for dry skin, the other would be better for oily skin. But there's wonderful cleansers out there that can really help your skin.
And much better for your face and your
Absolutely.
neck and all,
Yep,
all
and
that.
well said, you bring them all the way down, you
Yeah.
cleanse everything.
Okay, so that's what we should be doing, and that you can find out which one is better for you depending on your skin type. Okay, and we're doing that twice with that same cleanser.
At night.
Just use it, get
Yep.
rid of it, and then after that, what are we doing to protect our skin so it kind of rejuvenates at night? I know nighttime is a really important time to, kind of take care of that, making everything better.
Yes, it is.
Having it renew again.
It is. And the nighttime is when we do the restorative work. So that's why it's really important to go to bed with a clean face. And I talk to people a lot about their daily regimen because I personally believe it's the most important thing you can do for your skin. And we Americans fight that a little bit because and I say Americans because the French embrace it. They love their regimen and their daily ritual. To them, it's self-care. And it's like, oh no, I have to take, the 10 or 15 minutes, and we don't need quite that much, but I have to take that time for myself. I love my products. I want to treat myself. I wish we would do that. Instead, and it's so funny because I work a lot of evenings and I have people come in and of course I do that for them so they're ready for bed when they go home.
They're so grateful.
And
I
they
don't
love
have
it.
to do that.
They love it.
Well, it's funny, they think of it as like a pleasure, like I'm doing
do.
something good for myself.
They do.
We think of it as a chore.
And we do.
And
I don't want another thing to do.
Exactly.
And so what I encourage people to do is maybe don't wait right until bedtime. Maybe come home, have dinner. After dinner, go in, take care of yourself, then come out, be with your family, watch television, whatever your ritual is, and then you're ready for bed. But you can enjoy it because nighttime is most important. It's where we do our restorative work. From a product standpoint, it's where you use your treatment products. But the other side of the equation, go back to the cleansing, I wanted to say this, is if you go to bed with a dirty face, and it may not be obviously dirty, but if you haven't cleansed it, it is. You have the pollution, as we talked about, you have the makeup on your skin. Over time, that will prematurely age you.
Oh. And you don't really
think
don't
of that.
know it. No, you don't know.
And then when you do go to bed, because of what your body is trying to do for you, all kinds of things can happen to your skin that I see. And I can tell if somebody's not cleansing their skin well at night because they don't have breakout skin, but they have some breakout. And, just things that will happen.
Yes.
And your skin's trying to tell you, I need to breathe, I need to be clean, I need to restore. Because that's a time you use your treatment products.
Okay.
After you've cleansed the palate, cleansed your face, you put your treatment products on.
And that is another thing like an esthetician can help you with.
Yes.
What products am I putting on? And what's going to help my skin revitalize? And we don't know that. I mean, if you go into your local skin Ulta type place, there's so many products there that you just don't even know what am I supposed to be using and how and when and in what order. So it's kind of nice if you go to someone who's a professional can tell you, and then you get your routine set up.
Well, and let's start with the order of the products because I think that's the easier one. Is you cleanse, you tone if you're on a toner. I don't think everybody needs to be on a toner. You put your serum on next because that is a concentrated product. It has a smaller molecular size. You want it to go deeper into the skin. An eye cream, which you want to wear twice a day, and then you put your moisturizer on. And here, here, here.
Okay.
Or you put a treatment product on at night, so you might be using a retinol. That's what you would do at night. So.
And then if you do that, you don't do all the other things.
No, you still do all the other things.
You do the other things.
That's
too.
in place
Okay.
of the moisturizer.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then what do you use? It depends upon your age.
Yeah.
It depends upon your skin. And when I say it depends upon your skin, it goes back to all the things we're talking about. What kind of lifestyle have you lived? Have you taken really good care of yourself? Your skin is going to change through the ages no matter what. It may change a little bit more depending upon what you've done, sun exposure, not getting a lot of sleep, maybe not exercising and stimulating circulation in your skin. Those are all the things that have to be we evaluate when we evaluate your skin to try to help you. Minimally, I think, and the one thing that I've seen with aging skin, and this starts in our 20s, our skin starts to change in our 20s, but it's not as visible in your 20s. It picks up some visibility in our 30s and 40s, and then the 50s and 60s, we can see it. But the one thread that goes throughout all that is moisture, because we're a product of our hormones. And as the hormones change in our bodies, we start to lose that moisture. And that's how I work with people initially, is looking at what are they doing to add good moisture to their skin. Then you can put the vitamin C on, the retinol, the peptides, the stem cells, and that will depend upon what your age is in terms of recommending. A 20-year-old does not need to have a stem cell product on their skin, unless they're having some very significant issue with their skin. They don't. Their skin's very different. But a 20-year-old needs to start wearing an eye cream because that skin will age 30 times faster than the rest.
And, you know, I don't think any 20-year-old would really realize they need to start wearing an eye cream. It's just, you're 20, you know, it's young.
That's right. And maybe not right at 20. I say from 25 on, when I see gals in that age group, I'll suggest that, you know, think about it.
Yeah.
Start to think about it. Doesn't mean you have to do it today, but start to think about it and start caring for the eye area. And they don't have to wear an eye cream with all the bells and whistles that a 50-year-old will wear. They can do a very simple eye cream.
Yeah, and that will help.
Yep.
And might as well get started now.
Yeah.
And if they did, it would just be routine. So
It's just routine.
You know, it's just what you do.
I started to wear an eye cream when I was 28 because I looked in the mirror and I saw some expression lines and I was appalled.
You're like, what?
And you know what? It's the best thing that I ever did.
Yeah.
And it just became part of my ritual.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. You paid attention. A lot of people are like, I'm fine.
So expression lines in the mirror.
Oh, okay. So now transitioning into summer. So we've had that winter thing going on. We've been taking care of our skin for winter. Now we're headed into summer, like we said. It will be, you know, we'll be out in the sun more. We're outside more, just being
Absolutely.
out. Hooray! So what should we be doing to just get ready for summer?
I would say get a good facial. Get the winter stuff off. Get a nice exfoliation. Get a nice hydration infused into your skin and just freshen your skin.
And it feels great.
Yeah.
So just do that.
Yeah, and then do a check-in on, do you have the right products for the summer? Do you have a good sunscreen? Do you want to consider a vitamin C on your skin? You know, do you have a good cleanser? And sometimes you can change cleansers in the seasons. I usually will work with people to change cleansers or change moisturizers. As I said before, summer's a little more forgiving. You don't need as much protection, except you do protect from the sun in the summer as you do in the winter.
Okay. And what are the 4 S's? You and I talked about this a little bit. So I think it's important to remember this.
They are. The 4 S's that do not go well with skin. Well, we talked about the big one, sun.
Yep, and that's huge.
And then we talked about stress. And then we talked about, well, we didn't talk about smoke or sugar. I think people really understand that smoking is not good
for any
anything.
part of you.
For any part.
Right.
So, you know, what I see happens with people that smoke is they have a different color to their skin, they have a different texture, and even though they don't have breakout-prone skin, they're very prone to blackheads. The reason is that it constricts our blood vessels so we don't get the circulation that brings the nutrients to our skin to keep that cleared out.
Oh, huh. that's interesting.
So that's what will happen. So we know that. And then sugar, I think, is kind of a mystery. I don't know if people know a lot about that.
No, I didn't realize sugar, you shouldn't have sugar all the time,
Yeah.
just for nutrition reasons and, keeping your body healthy. But what does it do with your skin?
Well, and sugar will trigger inflammation in our bodies. So in our skin, it can start textural changes if you eat a lot of sugar. And we're not talking about fruit, we're talking about refined sugar. It will bring about textural changes, and those textural changes can manifest into fine lines and wrinkles.
Oh,
and I
like
can
that.
see it if in someone's skin. There might be just a little bit of there's a textural difference. It's just a little bit of a almost like a cross hatching of the skin. I mean, I have a mag mirror on him. I'm looking at him very closely.
Yeah, yes.
But, and so it's probably not visible to everybody, so I don't want to scare anybody. But it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's called glycation. And there's certain products then that we use and certain treatments that we'll give someone that has glycation.
And tell them to back off a little on that
Yes,
sugar intake.
back off on that sugar.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
We all want our little treats every once
well,
in a
we
while.
do, but there's treat and there's just
Yes.
there's too much. Okay, now I love this where you have suggestions for every age group. So let's kind of go through that
Sure.
because I think it's really important. And we did talk about the 20-ish age with eye creams and so forth. Do they need to get a facial at that point of their lives?
Not as frequently, no. And it's interesting because when I was in aesthetic school, we were told, and it made some sense. You should get a facial every month because of the way the cells come up through the epidermis, and we slough them off, but you want to keep they change. Their skin cells will change as they come up through the 5 layers of the epidermis, and you want to keep that very robust and hydrated. When I've researched more, I don't think that's quite necessary. I think that you could do a facial several times a year as a 20-year-old. It will accelerate what you do at home, which means I can do things at a higher level as an esthetician, so you get better benefit of your products.
Okay.
But you don't. Your skin hasn't changed that much.
Right.
You just want to keep it in very good shape.
That's it. That's the
That's
secret.
all you want to do.
Keep it in good shape.
Unless you have acne, and that's usually the other condition. Usually 20-year-old doesn't have discoloration on their skin. They could have rosacea. They could have acne. Then those are very specific conditions that you treat.
Okay.
And those may require more treatment. But in general, no.
For your typical
Typical 20-year-old,
yeah.
You don't
Okay.
need a facial every month at all.
Okay, so then we move to your 30s and 40s, which we're already using eye cream, and probably, facials are needed at that point too, or would be a good idea.
I do. And of course, when you're in your 30s, I would say maybe quarterly. In your 40s, maybe every other month. And I still worked with those age groups a little different. That's when we may start to, especially 40s, you may start to experience some different hormonal changes. You're looking at perimenopause, some things are happening to your body. That has an impact. Your drop in estrogen has an impact on your skin. It has an impact on hydration. So I would say at that point, maybe every other month. And again, it depends upon your skin. It depends upon your lifestyle choices that you've made and what you want to accomplish. And that's when I might, the 20-year-old, I would put into an antioxidant, a vitamin C, just to protect their skin. It enhances sunscreen. It protects from the pollution that we talked about. I think in your 30s and 40s is a time that you would consider a retinol product, which is really the most powerful anti-aging product there is out there. It can stimulate collagen. It can, smooth out fine lines. There's an exfoliating action into it. And there's all kinds of retinols out there. You don't have to put the big guns on your skin. You can put some little guns that still have retinol that's very concentrated and good.
Okay, well that's good, but that is a key.
It is a key
thing that people need to do.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's your nighttime product. So that would be what you put on at night.
Okay.
Retinol you don't want to ever use in the daytime. It's sensitive to sun. And I for the life of me, don't understand why I will look at certain products and they have retinol in for day use. That's a no-no.
Oh, okay. So keep that in mind. That's not
that's
something
a
you want to do, because that will actually could damage your skin, or even
It could, because of sun exposure,
Yeah,
And
okay.
anything that is going to mix with that, it spells premature aging to me.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we don't want to do that. So when you're in your 50s, you kind of do, it's like building. You're doing a little bit more of things. you're adding some things. What would you add in your 50s?
Well, you know what? Let me go back to 30s and 40s for just
Sure.
a sec. And probably more, and this could be for 30 or 40. Chemical peels are really good to stimulate collagen and elastin. And they're nothing to be afraid of. Many times people are afraid of them, and they're nothing to be afraid of. Those, I think, are really good in your 30s and 40s because you're starting to lose. We started to lose in our 20s. It's just not visible. You're starting to lose, so why not rebuild some back? As I always say to people is, I can't take aging away, but I can slow it down.
Yeah, well, and that's what we're looking for.
And that's it. So if you start to do like a series of chemical peels, that's really good, 30s and 40s. I'd say in the 40s, you might start to see that your eyebrow drooped a little bit. You get a little droopage around the jawline. Microcurrent to reprogram those muscles is wonderful to do in that age group, and the starting point in that age group.
Okay.
Then when you get into the 50s, I think 50s into 60s, that's when you might want to consider microneedling for stimulating collagen and elastin. If you really want to care well for your skin because you're going through much more significant hormonal changes, then skincare treatments every month, if you can do it, would be suggested.
And are we going to our esthetician or are we going to a dermatologist to do
Then
some
I
of these?
think as long as there's nothing significant going on with your skin, it's an esthetician. If you have a significant skincare issue, then you should see your dermatologist.
Okay.
We don't diagnose. I mean, we can treat most everything, but we don't diagnose. And you just may want to be under the care of a physician.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Okay, so you've mentioned retinol. I just want to bring up one thing. We women are very curious and interested and want to look as good as we can. And men want to look good too.
Sure, absolutely.
So men need to use the SPF, the sunscreens, just like we do every day. Put your sunscreen on,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and I'm so glad you said that because we focus so much on women, but it's for men too. And the one thing I didn't bring up that I always like to talk about is either a man or a woman with short hair. Really protect your ears. So much skin cancer is found on ears.
Yes, yes.
And we forget.
Right. And a baseball cap doesn't help that.
No,
So you need to put that on your ears so you can protect that. Is there anything else? I mean, I don't know if do men come in and want a facial?
They do.
Or they do. Okay.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they like to be pampered a little bit too, and they deserve it.
Yeah.
But they also are concerned about how they're aging. I think aging has changed, and that's why I love being in this business because we are aging, no doubt about it, but we want to age with a vitality. We want to have confidence because we still want to do things.
Right.
And as long as we feel good about ourselves, we can do those things. So my work is to try to help you feel good about yourself.
Well, and you want to look in the mirror and think, I'm looking good today.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Anything else, Jill, before we go? There's so much to cover. There's so many things to do to keep yourself looking good and stay healthy. I mean, that's the other thing.
Exactly, and that's what it's about. The only other thing that I would add, and we've talked about this before, is consider adding a collagen supplement. There's so many good ones out on the market, and they are not only going to help your skin, they're going to help you. And that's what I love about many of the things that I do, or I recommend. It's not just about the skin, but it's about your general health. And get a collagen supplement that has peptides in it, or it has other nutrients and vitamins in it. And I've seen a difference, and I think that others will too. And I know a lot of people are on them, and I strongly suggest that.
Okay, and that's just an oral, like a vitamin.
It can be a powder, it can be a pill. It's all oral. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Absolutely.
And you can easily find this somewhere.
You can.
Okay, great. Well, Jill, these are wonderful suggestions and tips, and I know our viewers are looking to be outside this year. We want to be outside and safe, and you've all got kids or somebody that you want them to be safe too, and your husband or boyfriend or brother or whatever because this skin cancer happens, and we don't want that to get away from us.
And we want people to feel good about themselves.
We do. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, Sue. My pleasure.
Thank you for the update. And we will be back with Jill sometime when we transition into fall, but that's a long, long way away, right? We're going to enjoy summer for now.
I hope so, and we will.
Thanks for watching us today. We'll see you next time around Payless. Bye-bye.